Alright, is anyone here? Probably not. I don't know if you can hear me, but yeah, whatever. Okay. Let's see who we have. Alright, Atlanta versus Minnesota. The first round. Alright, next round we have St. Louis and the Arizona Coyotes. I would have in voice chat right now, but I can't use my computer right now. I mean, I'm using my laptop, but... Alright, now we have the Columbus Blue Jackets and the New Jersey Devils. Alright, and then we have Nashville and Toronto. Why are some divisions able to add everyone? Who made that happen? Alright, and then we have Toronto and Nashville. Okay, this is the first round. It's a one-game series. So, why is my voice so high? It's kind of obvious. Drew, you're not playing yet. You get a first round bye since you were the first person in your division. Alright, Minnesota and Anaheim. First period, Zach Parise scores on Braden Holtby. Second period, Jonas Brodin scores on Braden Holtby while Corey Perry tries to tie it back. It's a 2-1 lead for the Minnesota Wild. Alright, it's close in the third period. Minnesota on the power play, they do not score. Alright, 10 minutes left in the period. Anaheim has to score or else they will be eliminated in the first round. Minnesota on the power play, and they do not score. A minute left in the game, and Anaheim is not able to score. Minnesota moves on to the next round. Alright. Now we have Arizona and Red Bull Salzburg. Let's simulate this. Alright. First period, Oliver Ekman-Larsson scores on Jake Allen and gives Arizona Coyotes a 1-0 lead. Second period, it's now a 2-1 lead for the Arizona Coyotes after Brandon Perlini scores, but Vladimir Tarasenko is trying to make it come back for his team. Alright, going into the third period, Paolo Stastny scores and ties up the game with 15 minutes left in this game. Alright, 10 minutes left in the third period, Arizona on the power play, they do not score. 7 minutes left in the third period, still a tie game. Who's going to win and move on? And we're going to overtime. Alright. Let's see who will score first and move out their team to the next round. St. Louis on the power play. Not St. Louis, whatever. Tired of saying that name. 10 minutes left in the first overtime. Will we have to go to the second overtime? We do not know. Alright, it looks like we are. And we are. Alright. Second overtime. St. Louis and Arizona. And Alex Pietrangelo of the St. Louis Blues scores on Antti Raanta, give them a 3-2 lead, and move on to the next round. Now we have Columbus and New Jersey. Alright. Some first period, no one scores. Good period for both of the goalies. Second period, Evgeny Dadonov of the Columbus Blue Jackets scores on Corey Schneider. Let's slow some the third period. Columbus on the power play. They do score. Brandon Lubisky from a tip-in, it looks like. New Jersey on the power play. They do score. Johnny Gaudreau trying to give his team a fighting chance. It's now a 2-2 tie. Marcus Johansson scores on John Gibson. It looks like we're going to overtime, and we aren't. Marian Hossa scores, brings his team up 3-2. What a goal for Marian Hossa. Moves his team on to the next round. Alright. Now we have Toronto and Quebec, whatever. I don't want to call them Quebec, but I will. Alright, first period. Nikolai Ehlers of the Toronto Maple Leafs scores on Pekka Rinne. Second period. Nikolai Ehlers scores his second, and Victor Arvidsson of the Nashville Predators scores on Frederik Andersen. It is now a 2-1 game for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Let's slow sim. Alright. Toronto was on the power play. They do not score. 2-1 lead. Will Nashville make a comeback? It doesn't look like they are. They will. Watson of the Nashville Predators ties it with 4 minutes left in the period. But Austin Matthews, with 4 seconds left remaining in the third period, scores to bring his team to the next round. Tweet with the cursed luck of having much more shots, but still losing. Alright. Think that's final. Now we gotta do the next series. Alright, so it was Toronto. I don't even know who it was, but I'll remember. Alright, now we have okay, so St. Louis is playing Seattle. I think Seattle. Yeah, St. Louis won, right? Yeah. Wait. Yeah, you did. I think so. Alright, St. Louis versus Tampa. I forgot who won in the Atlanta. Alright, whatever. So, Toronto versus Ottawa. And then Columbus versus the New York Islanders. What? I'm retarded. Alright. And we have Columbus and the New York Islanders. Yeah, rewatch who won. Minnesota won. Alright. Kind of forgot. Minnesota versus Colorado. I don't know why it took me so long to process that. Alright, these are the current playoffs. It's a 3-game series. I really hope yeah, alright, these seem right. Alright, Minnesota versus Colorado. Let's simulate the first game. First period, Connor Brown, Minnesota Wild on Carey Price. Second period, it's a 2-2 tie, Tyson Barrie and Connor Wilson and Evgeny Malkin. Third period, Carl Soderberg of the Colorado Avalanche wins the first game for his team. It's a 3-2 win for the Colorado Avalanche. Alright, now we have Red Bull Salzburg and the Seattle Metropolitans, who I didn't make custom logos for because I'm lazy. Alright, first period, Chris Kunitz of the Seattle Metropolitans score. Second period, Steven Stamkos scores. It's a 2-0 lead for the Seattle Metropolitans. Third period, no goals scored for the Red Bull Salzburg. They get shut out. Tampa now has a 1-game lead. Alright, New York and Columbus. First period, 2-0 lead for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Boone Jenner and Alexander Steen. Second period, no goals scored. Second period, still a 2-0 lead for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Third period, it's another shutout, and Columbus wins 2-0 over the New York Islanders. Alright, Ottawa and Toronto. First period, 1-1 tie, Cody Ceci and Leo Komarov. Second period, no goals scored. Third period, Austin Matthews scores. It's a 2-1 win for the Toronto Maple Leafs in Game 1. Alright. Colorado and Minnesota. First period, Minnesota is up 2-0. Nino Niederreiter and Jason Zucker. Second period, 3-2 lead for the Colorado Avalanche. Mikko Rantanen scoring twice and Blake Como scoring once. Alright, I guess we'll slow some the third. Oh, and Chris Stewart of the, Minnesota Wild. It's now a 3-3 tie with Minnesota on the power play. They do not score. 10 minutes left in the third period. And Nino Niederreiter scores. And it's now a 4-3 lead for the Minnesota Wild over the Colorado Avalanche. The Colorado Avalanche have to score, and they do not. Marcus Granlund scores the empty netter. 5-3 win for the Minnesota Wild. It's a 1-1 series for Colorado and Minnesota. Now we have Seattle Metropolitans and Red Bull Salzburg. First period, it's a 2-1 lead for the Red Bull Salzburg. Miko Zibanejad and Jaden Schwartz. Chris Kunitz for the Seattle Metropolitans scoring. Second period, it's a 3-3 tie. Steven Stamkos and Paquette of the Seattle Metropolitans score, while Patrick Berglund scores. And it's now a 3-3 game going into the third. Alright. Tampa on the power play, or Seattle on the power play. They do not score. 10 minutes remaining in the third period. If Tampa scores and moves on, they will. Or if Tampa wins this game, they will move on. And Seattle, Nemestikov and Andrei Schuster. It's a 5-3 win for the Seattle, the Red Bull Salzburg. Poor redneck. I feel bad. Alright. St. Louis Blues or Red Bull Salzburg are now out of the playoffs. Now we have Columbus and New York. First period, no goals scored. Second period, James Van Riemsdyk scores twice on Sergei Bobrovsky. Let's loosen the third. Yes, I know I sound young. I'm not retarded like I know I sound like 5. Alright. Third period. Seems like no one is going to score. Yep, whatever. Okay, Columbus wins the game against the New York Islanders and sweeps them. I didn't even know that. Alright, now we have Toronto and Ottawa. The Columbus Blue Jackets beat the first-seeded New York Islanders. Mitchell Marner of the Toronto Maple Leafs scores in the first period. It's now a 1-0 lead for Toronto Maple Leafs. Alright, second period, Erik Karlsson and Christian Dvorak for the Ottawa Senators make it a 2-1 game. Slows in the third, and Nazem Kadri, straight off the third, scores. It's now a 2-2 tie. With 10 minutes left, Ottawa on the power play, they do not score. Alright, with Thomas Chabot of the Ottawa Senators with 5 minutes left scores. Toronto has to score. I don't know. Alright, the 3-2 win for the Ottawa Senators in Game 2. I do not know if they moved on or not. No, they didn't. Alright, Colorado and Minnesota. Let's see, first period. Nathan McKinnon, Colin Wilson, and Alexander Kerfoot and Matt Nieto score all in the first. Is this going to be a comeback? I don't think so. Second period. It's now 5-1 game. Alexander Kerfoot gets his second, while Eric Stahl gets his first of the game. 1 period left. Minnesota has to score 4 goals to even push it to overtime. Minnesota on the power play, they do not score. Alright. Minnesota on the power play again with 10 minutes remaining, they do not score. Colorado is going to be moving on to the finals to face the Seattle Metropolitans. Alright, Colorado moves on. Now we have Toronto and Ottawa. First period, Bobby Ryan scores for the Ottawa Senators in a 1-0 game. Second period, William Nylander of the Toronto Maple Leafs scores, but Mark Stone and Max Pacioretty score. It is now a 3-1 lead for the Ottawa Senators. Alright, now it was a 3-2 lead as Austin Matthews scored. Now it's now a 3-3 tie. Mitchell Marner of the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's a 3-3 game. 10 minutes left remaining in the third. Whoever wins this moves on. Will there be any late goals in the third period? It does not look like there will be, and we are going to overtime. Alright, overtime. 15 minutes left. Ottawa outshooting the Toronto Maple Leafs. Ottawa on the power play, they do not score. Toronto on the power play, they do not score. It looks like we are going to go to the second overtime, and we are. Alright, second overtime. Game 3, and Mark Stone of the Ottawa Senators pushes his team back, and they will be facing off against the Columbus Blue Jackets. Alright, so we have Colorado and Seattle, and then Ottawa and Columbus. Alright, new playoff. Right, so now we have Colorado and Seattle. Then in the Eastern Conference we have Ottawa and the Columbus Blue Jackets. Alright, 5-game series. Alright, game 1. Colorado versus Seattle. First period. Seattle has a 2-0 lead. Second period, 4-1 lead for the Seattle Metropolitans. Third period, 5-2 win for the Seattle Metropolitans in game 1. Alright. Columbus versus Ottawa. First period, 1-1 game. Zach Smith and Keith Yandel Second period, no goals scored. Still a tie game. Third period, no goals scored. Alright, I guess let's sim this. So 1-1 game. Alright, 15 minutes remaining. Ottawa has a power play and they do score. Mark Stone scores. Alright. Alright, Seattle and Colorado, game 2. Seattle's up 1 game in the series. First period, Colin Wilson, 1-0 lead for the Colorado Avalanche. Second period, Chris Kunitz and Steven Stamkos, so it's a 2-1 game for the Seattle Metropolitans. Third period, it's a 5-2 game again. Steven Stamkos with the 4 goals, I believe. Yeah, 4-goal game from Steven Stamkos. So this brings the Seattle Metropolitans to a 5-2 win again. I didn't even, whatever. Alright, game 2. Ottawa versus Columbus. First period, Boone Jenner of Evgeny Dadonov. Second period, 3-1 game, Casey Cizikas and third time, Derek Brassard and Mike Hoffman. They will not. Marian Hossa being a clutch player, scoring in overtime on Craig Anderson. Alright, Seattle Metropolitans versus the Colorado Avalanche. If Seattle wins this, they move on. First period, Andre Palat scores, 1-0 game. I really hope the Colorado Avalanche don't get swept, but alright. Second period, Tyson Jost. It's a 1-1 tie. Tampa on the power play, they do not score. Colorado on the power play, they do not score. Colorado Avalanche on the power play again, they do not score. Tampa does not score on the power play either. 7 minutes remaining in the game. Currently a 1-1 tie. Colorado has to win this to stay alive. And we're going to overtime. Overtime of game 3. Colorado has to score to move on to the next round. Or not to move on. Keep the series in motion. Tampa on the power play, they do not score. Tampa on the power play again, a 5-on-3 power play, and they do not score again. Looks like we're going to the second overtime, and we are. Colorado has been playing great and defending both of the power plays. Oh, and Andre Palat of the Tampa Bay Lightning, or Seattle Metropolitans, moves them on to the finals. Colorado Avalanche get swept. Alright. Columbus and Ottawa. First period, Artemi Panarin, the Columbus Blue Jackets, scores twice. Second period, Casey Cizikas of the Columbus Blue Jackets scores. 3-0 lead for the Columbus Blue Jackets going into the third period. Marian Hossa again scores, giving his team a 4-0 lead over the Ottawa Senators. Alright. Game 4. If Columbus wins this game, they move on. First period, 3-2 lead for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Pajot scores twice for the Ottawa Senators, but Steen, Yandel, and Atkinson both score for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Second period, a 4-3 lead for the Ottawa Senators. Alexander Burrows and Mike Hoffman score. Alright, let's slow some the third. I don't know, Garrett, why your team is doing so good. I guess it's just EA. Oh, and Artemi Panarin ties the game, 4-4. Ottawa does not score in the power play. Ottawa scores Brian Zingle with 5 minutes left in the game. 3 minutes left. The Ottawa Senators have a 1-goal lead, and I can't speak. James Van Riemsdyk ties it up with 24 seconds remaining in the game. It's now a 5-5 game going into overtime. Alright, if Columbus wins this, they move on to the next round. And I feel like Hossa could be the one scoring here, as he keeps to... I mean, it'll be pretty weird if he scores, but... Columbus on the power play, they do not score. Ottawa currently out shooting the Columbus Blue Jackets, but Nothing is happening. Alright. Second overtime. Columbus on the power play. Ottawa's on the power play, and Matt Pacioretty scores on John Gibson. 6-3, 6-5 win. And it's now a tied game. It's a tied series. I cannot talk. Ugh. Alright. Final game. First period. 1-1 tie. Bobby Ryan and Cam Atkinson, respectively. Second period. Dustin Byfuglien of the Columbus Blue Jackets scores, and is now a 2-1 lead for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Slowson the third. Alright. 15 minutes left in the third period. No one has scored, but Christian Dvorak scores with 12 minutes left in the game. It's now a tie game. This game is up for grabs for anyone, and this series is very competitive. Both teams playing very well. And we're going to overtime. Overtime, game 5. In Ottawa, Thomas Chabot scores to give the Ottawa Senators 3-2 lead and push the team to the finals. Alright, so it looks like the finals will be the Seattle Metropolitans and the Ottawa Senators. It's kind of funny how it's, Garrett and Lou. Alright. I don't know if Tweet is here. He needs to take a picture, so, Alright. Someone's annoyed that they lost. Alright. We have Tampa versus Ottawa. Alright. Alright, game 1. First period, no one scores. Second period, Matt Duchene of the Ottawa Senators scores on Matt Murray the Furry. Alright, third period, let's slow sim. Steven Stamkos on the power play scores, and Craig Anderson. It's a 1-1 tie in the first period. Alright, we now have 10 minutes left in the third period, but Nikita Kucherov gives his team a 2-1 lead over the Ottawa Senators. 3 minutes remaining in the third period. Will the Ottawa Senators be able to make a comeback? And they do not. 2-1 game for the Seattle Metropolitans. Alright. Game 2. Ottawa versus Seattle. First period. Alexander Burrows scores on Matt Murray. Second period. 5-1 for the Ottawa Senators. Bobby Ryan, MacArthur, Dvorak, and Dvorak again. But Tyler Johnson scores for the Seattle Metropolitans. Alright, I'm just going to sim the third period, since I don't think they'll make a comeback. Mike Hoffman scores for the Ottawa Senators, and Steven Stamkos does for the Tampa Bay Lightning, respectively. I say Tampa way too much. And this is a 6-2 game for the Ottawa Senators. It's now tied 1-1 in the series. Alright, game 3. Max Pacioretty scores on Matt Murray. It's a 1-0 lead for the Ottawa Senators over the Seattle Metropolitans. Second period. Nemestikov scores. It's a 1-1 game. Tied going into the third. But Chris Kunitz scores. 15 minutes remaining in the game. So now a 2-1 lead for the Seattle Metropolitans. Seattle on the power play. It's a long power play, but they are not able to score. 4 minutes left in the game. Ottawa has to score. And they do not. Andre Palat seals the deal, and Steven Stamkos for a 4-1 game over the Ottawa Senators. Seattle now leads the series 2-1. I'm going to be so annoyed if Tampa wins this. Alright, first period. Max Pacioretty scores 2. It seems that Ottawa always gets the lead and then they blow it. And then second period, Christian Dvorak scores. Seattle on the power play, they do not score. 15 minutes left in the period. 3-0 lead for the Ottawa Senators. 5 minutes left. 4 minutes. 3 minutes. 2, 1, and Ottawa wins game 4. It's now tied again. Alright. Seattle and Ottawa, game 5. First period, Alex Killorn scores. It's a 1-0 lead for Seattle. Second period, Max Pacioretty scores. He's been phenomenal for them this round. It's now a 1-1 tie going into the third period, but Braden Point scores straight off the third. It's now a 2-1 game for the Seattle Metropolitans. Seattle on the power play, they do not score. 10 minutes remaining left in the third period. Will this be a lead? And it is not. Derek Brassard scores. It is now a 2-2 game for the Ottawa Senators, Seattle Metropolitans. And we are going to overtime in game 5. Alright, game 5, the finals. Overtime. Who do we think will score? Place your bets. And it is Tampa. Alex Killorn scores on Craig Anderson. 3-2 win for the Seattle Metropolitans, and they have a 3-2 series lead of the Ottawa Senators. Alright, Ottawa, Seattle, game 6. If Tampa wins this, they win the cup. Alright, first period, Pajot for the Ottawa Senators scores. Second period, 4-1 lead for the 4-1 lead for the Ottawa Senators. Thomas Chabot, Zach Smith, Bobby Ryan, while Gord scores for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Alright, let's slow some the third. Mark Stone scores his 5-1 lead, and Max Pacioretty scores. Now a 6-1 game. Game 6 of the finals. Looks like Tampa or Seattle has no way of coming back from this deficit. And they do not. Alright. Game 7 of the finals. Alright, we're going to slow some each period because I don't want to rig it or whatever. Alright, first period. No one has scored yet. 10 minutes left in the third. 7 minutes. 6, 5, 4. And Ryan Zingle, but Tyler Johnson scores, and it is now a tie game entering the second. It's Tyler Johnson and Ryan Zingle score for their teams. Yeah, game 7 without doing anything isn't bad. Alright, second period. Seattle on the power play. I always screw that up. But Seattle scores. Mikhail Sergachev scores on Craig Anderson. It's now a 2-1 lead for the Tampa Bay Lightning. But Erik Karlsson says, if you can do it, I can do it. He scores. He hasn't been much of a presence this series. Alright. Now, it's 2-2 tie going into the third period. Let's slow some it to 4 minutes, or 4 times, because I don't want to miss it like I did the other time. Ottawa, Seattle. 15 minutes remaining in the period. Which team will come up in this game? Let's figure it out. 10 minutes remaining in the third. Alex Killorn might be the saving grace, but no. Matt Duchene scores and ties it back up. Nikita Kucherov now gives the Seattle Metropolitans a 4-3 lead with like 6 minutes left in the game. 4 minutes left. 3. Alright. We are going to enter the game. So, CPU versus CPU. They don't have a That sucks. They don't have their Winter Classic. I'm gonna pick a ugly jersey. Actually, I kind of like this. I kind of like this jersey, but... Alright. Of course, someone is calling my home. That's cool. That's cool, yeah. Thanks for calling. Alright. Alright. Minute remaining in this game. Ottawa has to score to give them a chance. Into the overtime. Brayden Point carries it up the ice to Victor Hedman. Kunitz scrolls up the ice. Brayden Point shoots. Misses. I should probably turn down the commentary, but I guess I'll let them do it for me since I don't want to. Kevin May moves up the ice. Brings it back to Strawman. Strawman loses the puck. Kunitz picks it up. Alright. Hedman picks it up. Brayden Point now passes it to Killorn. Hedman to Killorn. Shoots it down. Alright. Ottawa pulls their goalie for a chance. 16 seconds remaining in this period. They have to score here or else they will lose in the Stanley Cup final. I don't know what this Ottawa Senators fan is doing standing up. He's not even winning the cup. Like, what? Yeah, let me just act like we're going to win. Alright. 15 seconds left. It is a tied up. Pulled goalie. They do not score off their only chance. Kucherov, Andre Palat, and it scores. Empty netter goal. And now the Seattle Metropolitans are going to win the Stanley Cup. Alright. Andre Palat. Alright. Yeah, everybody should head for the eggs. Yay. I don't understand how he's winning. Like, this team has, like, nothing done to it. Just like, oh, EA's just like, oh, they're doing good in real life. Looks like they can do good forever. Ottawa pulls the goalie, and the Tampa Bay Lightning win the Stanley Cup. Yay. What is this, like, sounds? Alright. Just realizing I never finished the draft class, and I'm kind of stupid for that, since I have to do it pretty soon. Tweet isn't even on. Of course he isn't. Why is Tweet not on? The one time I need him to be on to take a picture, he can't. Of course. CC Pajot. Ooh. This music sucks. What is this music? I don't know if you can hear the music, but it's completely garbage. It's like elevator music. Like, who wants to listen to that? Alright, let's see who wins the Conn Smythe. Nikita Kucherov. 8 points in 7 games. I don't understand how you won, actually. Like, everyone is just sitting down bored. The stadium looks kind of small for a reason. I don't know. Steven Stamkos gets to hold the cup. Who do we think is going to have the longest stroll with the cup? I think it's going to be Palat or Schuster. It's going to be either Palat or Schuster. Ferrari has it. I don't know how he has it. Is Callahan going to be the one that takes 10 years? I feel like he might be. No. Wait. Yeah, he is. Yep. He's the one who takes 10 years to skate around the ice. All right. This game is kind of just like, who cares? Play one. He's still skating with it. And now, Matt Murray the Furry, I think. I hope it's him. Matt Murray the Furry gets his third cup. Depressing. Alright, picture. Ooh. Wow. Cool. Whatever. Alright. Good stream. Whatever. Alright.